Hello and welcome to Endeavor's Information Mini-Series overviewing demand planning for Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, showcasing out-of-the-box functions and field descriptions. For more on item carts, Yaz, over to you.
This is the main area where we actually work with the local planning parameters. So as you can see, the planning, this we call this a fast tab, okay? And this is where we have main planning parameters that we could use to help our planning system give us proper suggestions. So I'll show you the policies. Now, in the slideshow, you saw only 4. Okay. However, see this field which is blank? That is an actual planning policy. So if I switch to it now, you'll see that most of the fields disappear. Yeah. This reordering policy blank means I don't want to plan at all. So the system will not plan for this item at all. We will only plan for it manually if we get a sales order for it. Okay. This is a policy that we see with extremely high cost items, okay, whereas usually multiple levels of approvals set up in the system using workflows. It's a different concept. We'll talk about it probably in a different webinar, but basically it is a very expensive item and we can't just create a production order for it or a purchase order for it just because we have a demand in the system. Someone needs to authorize it, and that's why it's a manual planning policy. Okay. The next one, let's take a look at order. Okay. Order is the policy where we said there's a one-to-one relationship. So usually this is the same concept. It's an expensive item that we have. That we manufacture or we assemble or we purchase and sell. However, there's no approvals in place. So if we have a sales order for it, then we would want to purchase it. We would want to manufacture it or assemble it. Okay. The caveat about this policy is there's always reservations. So despite that you can see that there's optional, never, or always on the reserve field, the system will always reserve this item from the demand from the supply to the demand. Okay, there's only a few fields available here. Okay, the rest of the fields I don't know if you can see, but I can't click on them. I can't change that. Can't change any of these fields. So all of these fields are basically out of use. I can't use them. Okay, so this is a planning policy where it's one-to-one relationship and we'll create reservations. Okay. The reservations, one thing that we need to mention and be aware of, they're great to make your customers happy. So if a customer places an order for 20 pieces to be manufactured, you know for sure that these 20 pieces will have a hard link between my supply in the form of production, purchase, assembly, whatever. Okay, there's a hard link between that supply and my demand on the sales order. So I can't get into a situation where my production output, for example, of 20 pieces was sold to a different customer. The system will not allow the shipment of these 20 pieces to any other sales order other than the sales order that we created for the main customer. Okay. The downside of it is if you want to have flexibility with your demand and supply, then reservations take that away from you. Okay? So you cannot take these 20 pieces that you created for customer A in the first example and sell them to customer B who's willing to pay you double the price of the item. Okay? You can't do that because there's a hard link between supply and demand. You will have to tell your customer B to wait until you're done manufacturing or you receive these items on a purchase order, then you can ship them to them.
Thanks, Yaz. What a great overview of item cards. To get full access to the mini-series or to find out how Endeavor can optimize your inventory management for manufacturers, resellers, wholesalers, and distributors, visit endeavorsolutions.ca/demand. See you then.